All I can say is thank God that Woody Harrelson got rid of that wig.
Let's all go watch the review. Yeah.
Hey everybody, how's it going? I am Leader Good and welcome to another movie about Venom. Venom. Let There Be Carnage, the second one, starring, we got Tom Hardy, we got Woody Harrelson, and you know, that's really all we need to know and move going forward. And so this is the sequel to Venom, the movie that back when Venom came out, we're all like, not sure if this is going to be any good or not. This doesn't feel exactly right. Doesn't feel like it's doing the thing justice. And then we saw it, we're like, you know what, that's okay. And they're like, alright, we're going to make a whole franchise out of this. Like, no, that's not what we said. We said it was like not as bad as we thought. There were some moments that we enjoyed. You loved it! You absolutely loved it! Put all our money in Venom, guys! We're building a whole franchise! Guys, stop! Stop! This isn't what we said. We said it was okay. Okay! You said okay to a new here we go. Anyway, here we go. Let There Be Carnage, the second one. And let me just say, the first thing that surprised me the most is that when I was in the Cineplex and watching their pre-show and the Venom thing came up, first of all, I hate those things. I always like, why do I want to see behind-the-scenes special features about the movie I'm about to see? I always hated it. But this time it was eye-opening because when I saw who directed this film, I was floored. Andy Serkis? Like God and the circuses, the precious. What? I don't think this is his first film. I feel like he directed something else too. Did he direct that, like, Inkheart? I know he was in it, but I'm not sure. I think he's directed the film, but I was shocked when I'm like, okay, you got Andy Serkis to direct this film. Okay, at least I respect that guy as an actor. He's the greatest CGI actor-performer ever made, so let's see where we go with this. And it was totally unnoticeable. Guys, this movie isn't good. Let me just say that. Venom Let There Be Carnage isn't good. Now, let me just say that I don't have a whole lot of problems with this movie in terms of the story, like what happens in the story. There isn't a lot of stuff where I said, oh, they handled it this way? That's so dumb. It's more like, there's a few, like, the fact that they made, like, Venom, like, I need to eat brains in order to live. Like, that's never been a thing. I mean, Venom eats people's head, like, bites people's heads off in the comics is because he's a symbiote that doesn't understand morality and and so he lowers people's inhibitions so that they don't feel like it's wrong. You know, that's why but he doesn't, like, enjoy the taste of your brains. He's not a flippin' zombie, for crying out loud. So there's that, but there was not a lot of that. There wasn't a lot of the stuff like that that just pissed me off because it wasn't true to the comics. This movie, I think, is a bad movie because the pace and the writing is just bad. First of all, we got Tom Hardy and Venom, and I just really did not like the dynamic in this one. In the first one, I actually enjoyed it. I liked that there was sort of this banter back and forth thing, and then the movie ends, you're like, we're gonna beat up bad guys, and we're gonna take them down, and we're gonna be a team, and you're like, ah, yeah, let's do this. And then they do what all the sequels do. It's just like, I remember when we said that? I didn't actually mean it. We're hiding out. In fact, nobody can see us. We're just gonna hide, and we can't go out there as Venom, and Venom's like, why not, blah, 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 and he's like, it's really pathetic. Like, look, I like that they gave him some humanizing moments in the last time, but here, they're both such whiny, little babies, always complaining all the time about, oh, life is so hard, I was just like, get off yourselves, guys. We got, and they're always bickering and arguing. You never feel like they have a camaraderie. As I say, there isn't a whole lot of stuff with the comics that I dislike. But one thing that I do dislike is the fact that Venom is actually supposed to be more addicting the longer you're exposed to it. You know, the longer you have the symbiote on you, the more you feel like it's a part of you, and the more you get addicted to that feeling of being a part of the symbiote. Where here, they're just like yelling and back and forth at each other, and oh, yeah, I don't really exactly care for that. But let's get to the main course. Woody Harrelson. Yeah, Woody Harrelson as Carnage. You know what? When in terms of creepiness, I feel like Woody Harrelson is a good choice for someone to act this sort of role, and he tries to be all menacing and creepy. But he's also written pretty badly. Like, I'm not... This is still 14A Cletus Cassidy, you know? I'm not... This is like Criminal Minds level of a scary villain. And I'm not talking about season 1 or 2 Criminal Minds. I'm talking about season 6 or 7 when they're just like us, whatever. Let's different serial killer, whatever his motivation is, something to do with his mother. Don't worry about it. You know, that's what I'm saying. It's like he doesn't feel all that special as well. Now, when he is tearing stuff up, I actually really enjoy it, and I like that. But I was thinking like he kind of like adapts to this new Carnage thing like way too quickly. There's no learning curve for him. I was reminded back to the scene of Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2, the Alfred Molina version, which I guess might be the only version of Doc Ock we ever get. Anyways, where he was like talking to his arms who were influencing him, but he had a moment where he's just like, okay, what is happening? I need to come to grips with this. And then when he finally does and decides to go all supervillain on ya, you understand his motivations. Where he comes out of this, like, the electric chair, or the injection chair, I guess it was an electric chair, and he just goes all Carnage on everybody and destroys everything. Then he comes out and is like, okay, this is cool. I'm gonna, you know, there's no, like, moment where his character has to get used to this, where they form any symbiosis. They're just like, yeah, it doesn't really work all that much. And then they add this weird thing in with his girlfriend, who he was girlfriend with as, like, a teenager who he never lost sight of, and she's all in love with him, and he's all in love with her, but it's just like, we have no scenes to develop that at all. Like, the introduction scene of the movie is Woody Harrelson badly trying to sound like a teenager, dubbing over this teenage actor. Like, that was really bad. I'm just like, hi, Woody Harrelson's voice that is obviously not coming out of this teenager body. What are you doing here? And then he's like, oh, I'm in love with her, and that's why I was killing women as a serial killer. And I'm like, I don't really feel the connection here. I don't feel like it really mixes together. And then they have a part of the movie where like Eddie and Venom are like separate from each other, and I'm just like, I don't really get what's happening here. This feels like filler. This feels like you don't actually have anywhere to go with your movie, and you're just filling it up. Now, to be fair, when Carnage and Venom are on screen tearing stuff up, it actually looks really cool. You know, like it looks like the symbiotes that we desired to see from the comics. The fight scenes, while being big CGI blotches, there are still some interesting parts to them, and they still keep me somewhat entertained. But I will say that they're not, like, mind-blowing, and I think the problem really comes down to the characters. I think that Venom is a movie that was on shaky ground to begin with, and then you give it a sequel, and I don't think it has the foundation to really hold itself up. And, yeah, it just kind of fell on its face a little bit for me. And I wanted to see a movie like about Carnage and whatnot, but I felt like his stuff was just so rushed and not really done all that well. And the thing with like Siren or whatever her name is also a little like rushed, and I'm just like, okay, I guess they're in love. And then the pace of this movie goes so quick it barely has any time to develop anything. But there's a lot of spoiler part that I want to get into. So I'm just trying to think if there's anything non-spoiler related that I really want to get into with this. The girlfriend is also in here, and she's kind of pointless, and her fiance, I guess ex-fiance, is in here with her fiance. And there's that. the movie is trying to rely a lot on the Eddie Brock, like, relationship with Venom, but they're both so complaining, such sad sacks, that I'm never able to, like, be rooting for them to win the day most of the time. So, yeah, I'm gonna give Venom, Let There Be Carnage a 3 out of 10. I think it's a bad movie. I think that I was gonna, like, possibly give it a 4, just a below average, but it wasn't good, guys, and there's no way you could look at this in any way to say that it's a good movie. You can say you enjoyed it and whatnot, obviously, but there's no way that you can look at this and say, you know what, that's a good piece of cinema. It's not. The only really thing that grabbed my attention was the after credits scene. So, yeah, that's what I have to say about that. Moving on to the spoiler part of the review. Spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2... Okay, what is going on? Is Venom going to be in the Spider-Man No Way Home movie? Because that's what it's feeling like to me. Like, the multiverse thing just shifted, and Eddie was brought along to the ride, but... Or... Like, I hope that's the way, but it doesn't actually make sense, because this seems to happen before... Like, that seemed to happen, like, before... Flippin'... Like, it seems to be like they arrive and watching J. Jonah Jameson, like, badmouth Peter Parker, and I'm just like, okay, what? What? Because if that's the case, if he is arriving before, how did he get to this other universe? I mean, sure, they could just write it off with a line like they did in Into the Spider-Verse, where they're just like, I was not only to another universe, but into another time. 2 weeks ago, blah, blah, blah. They could make it work. I felt like Venom wasn't completely out of the possibility of being in the Marvel Universe. You know, I didn't feel like it was out, like, sure, they never referenced the Avengers or saw Avengers Towers or whatever, but I feel like they could have done it. But I don't know if I like that they're doing this, you know, because I wanted Venom to be handled well in the Spider-Man point of view, because I don't think it works to have Venom go to Eddie Brock first, then Peter Parker. I don't think it works. The story just doesn't flow together, and because of that, I don't see where they're going to be going with this. And I just don't think that flows together. I think it's probably not the best way you could do it. So... But, you know, I've come to the realization there's just some things I'm never going to get out of a Spider-Man movie. I'm never going to get the Venom story arc I want. Hey, I got in Spectacular Spider-Man. I'm never going to necessarily get the perfect version of some of these characters. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm interested in what they can do with it. Maybe they can prove me wrong. Maybe they can make something out of it now that it's combined with the Marvel Studios. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a continuous thing going forward. But yeah, at the very least, I'm interested in where they could go with it, and I'm interested to see Spider-Man handled with the symbiote. Yeah, but now this Spider-Man is going to be, like, having to bite people's heads off and having these arguments with himself. Like, here's the thing. Venom in the comics, the symbiote itself, was not this talkative. Okay? Now, when it comes to, like, some of the scenes that I don't really like, I don't like when Eddie and Venom just split up and they were yelling at each other like a couple fighting, and then they just go off and do two completely pointless different things. I'm Venom, I'm going off with a bunch of people at a rave. Everyone thinks this is a costume, but it's really not. You were... What the flippin' heck, guys? Come on. What was the point of that scene other than for chuckles and giggles? I mean... Did you have any other point to it? No, there wasn't. And then Eddie just walking around like, oh crap, now I can't fight off this Carnage guy. And I don't think they really developed the other symbiote as well. I like the fact that, like, there was a little bit of a divide between Cletus Cassidy and Carnage, the symbiote itself, because they were both, like... Because, like, Cletus Cassidy was in love with a woman who could scream, and the symbiote did not like loud noises, so he was, like, attacking... her, but, okay, here's the thing I don't get. Why did the girlfriend turn against him? Because, like, look, as far as I'm remembering, there's a scene where, like, the girlfriend's choking out the cop. The cop apparently doesn't die, but, okay, she's choking out the cop, and then the next thing she's in is like, it's too much, we're going too far. Why are you saying that we're going too far? You just choked a man to death. Why would you be saying, oh man, you know what? And we didn't see, oh, stupid light. And we didn't see, stupid light. And we didn't see any moment where she felt like remorseful about that. It's not like she was like, you know, we didn't see that. We didn't see anything like that. She was just like, you're dying, you're dying. Then I think we've gone too far, okay? Okay? You know what? Bullcrap, you were just as much power hungry and death hungry as he was. I mean, come off it. I really did not like that. I found her character to be kind of pointless too. I mean, a little bit of thing. Like, there's the whole fight sequence where like, and here's another thing. We never got an explanation as to why Venom was scared of Carnage. Like, there's a whole thing in the trailer. It was like, oh, no, that is a red one. What is the difference? We never heard him say, oh, well, a red one means that he has this much power, or blah, 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 blah. Just, I'm scared of a red one, because red is my most hated color. I mean, we don't get any explanation of that. The beginning scene is so fast where it's like, and he was a loser, and then he spotted one thing, and then he found the bodies, and now all of a sudden he's a hero! I mean, what? What? Oh man, is that pointless. They did the thing with the girl to be the symbiote again just for pervs. I mean, there's no reason to do that again unless you're doing it for the pervs, okay? I mean, I'm just saying, that's why they did it. What else? I'm just trying to think, because this movie is a mess. It follows Cletus Cassidy around, but we never really get time to see what he's like. And then that ending scene, I will say there was a line I liked, where he's like, oh, you never wrote how my mom and my grandma were mean to me, too. And I'm like, dude, you've killed at least like a dozen women before you turn into alien monster, okay? There's no way on earth that I'm ever gonna feel sorry for you. And I do like that Venom's like, oh, F this guy, and just kills him. Yeah, okay, that's funny too, but I feel like you were supposed to feel sorry for him a little bit in that moment. Maybe I'm reading that wrong. Either way, it's like, dude, what are you doing? There's no way anybody could feel sorry for you based on what you did and enjoyed doing. It's not even like you were one of those serial killers that did things out of compulsion. You killed these people because you enjoyed it. There was that scene where you were just driving down the road and for no reason you flipped the truck over the edge just because you could. I wanted more of those, you know. I wanted Carnage just to be like, hey, I have the power to kill anyone I want. That person over there, now you're dead. That person over there, now you're dead. But then it turns into the whole thing where it's just like, aha, I've kidnapped your girlfriend. The only funny line was when he's like, I'm gonna kill you, father. And then the priest is like, oh no. He's like, not you, father. Oh, probably. The only reason, but that brings up another thing. Carnage itself, the red symbiote, we're not really given any motivation for why he wants to kill Venom. Just like, he created me, now I must destroy him. Why? Why? Give me a reason. It was, yeah, I think this movie is bad. Pretty bad. I think this was the last chance you got to really make Carnage well nowadays, because it's just like his character is so sick and twisted. You would need an adult animated show to really bring his character to life. At least with Venom, you could tone it down a little bit and stuff like Spectacular Spider-Man, still get the majority of the stuff out there. But I don't know if we'll ever really see Carnage brought to the big screen or even the small screen to great effect. Because, I mean, if Woody Harrelson can't do it, then I don't know who else, if anybody has a really good shot. Yeah. I'm interested in seeing what this has to do with the Marvel Universe as a whole. It does kind of feel like this is the little boy trying to play at the big boy's table. It's like, okay, Venom, okay, you were fine when you were your own thing. Now you're trying to get into the big league. Stay in your lane, guys. Stay in your lane. But Maybe they can do something good with it, revive this franchise, save it. Maybe, I don't know. But, yeah. I think this is a pretty bad movie. I don't really think it's all that good. I think that if you're a comic book fan like me, there might be some enjoyment you could get out of it. But as a movie on itself, on its own, it sucks. It really sucks. So, thanks for watching, everybody. I am Lazy Dude, and see you next time.
Be sure to check out some of these other videos on my channel. And wait for more coming soon.